Okay, my little bow looms come pre-tensioned, so I keep a cord on them after I make them, and they've got some tension on them already. We're going to tie on the end that we want to start weaving on, so I'm going to make this pretty close back to the heddle. I'm going to pull that back through there and just pull a little bit through, and I'm just going to put some loops in the notch. I'm not actually going to put a knot in there. I'm going to start on the top because that's where our heddle needs to be once we bow it, and I'm just going to do some loops. So you always have to account for some waste, probably a foot of waste on each end of these, just to give yourself plenty for however much that you want to weave. Make sure that you got enough that you can wrap onto the bow loom. And then, so I got the warp laid out here. So on the chair, I'm going to turn this around. And I'm not going to put an enormous amount of tension on the bow. So I know that's straight for the length that I want to weave. You can even stand it up as you tension it. And I'm going to pull the tension here on the loom, put that on the warp, and I'm going to hold it with my finger. And I'm going to do the same thing on this end. I'm just going to put some loops on the end. And this is the way it was done with the tree limb. The tree limbs, they just wound it onto the end, on each end. Now my warp is good for for the weaving that I want to do with this rigid heddle. It's going to be a very thin band. 11 threads doesn't make a very wide band, but that's what these bands were used for fixing everything. Before there was tape, there was this. And now that I've got this fixed on here, I can just tie this, I can just wrap the warp around and around and around. And I was not careful with this on the last one that I did. It did not get tangled. Any tangles that were in there, just the heddle pushed them right out. And now I've got a portable backstrap rig. And you can either put a C-clamp on the bow to hold it to the table, or like I was doing at guild meetings, you can put your foot down onto the bow itself and weave like that when just sitting down. Close up.